Hey guys, so today's topic, can you live on your Social Security here in the Philippines? For those of you who don't have additional income or different sources of pension, and the only pension you're getting is your Social Security, the question is, can I live on that? It's one of the top questions I get in emails, in Messenger, and in the comment sections is, can I live on $1,500 a month? Can I live on $1,200 a month? Can I live on $2,000 a month? And even some guys get outrageous and ask, can I live on $5,000 a month? Well, of course you can live on $5,000 a month. Of course you can live fine on $3,000 a month or more. You could live like a king. You know, if you're single, living by yourself, no other obligations but to live and enjoy your life, $3,000 US a month, you'll be living like a king. But the reality is most people don't. Most people don't have that $3,000 a month. And the question guys are asking me that are in the lower budget range, those, you know, like $1,000 a month or $1,200 US a month, can you live in the Philippines? And my answer to that is you can live in the Philippines better than you can live in the US on that money. Just remember, you lose all the safety nets. I don't want to go too far without mentioning that. You lose, you know, your ability to walk into a hospital and get taken care of without any money. Rental assistance, you know, if your electric bill's too high and you can't pay it, you can go to some places and get help with your utilities. Food banks, they don't have that here. And they especially don't have that here for foreigners. If you come to the Philippines, is your budget going to be a budget on Spam? Are you going to have Spam and eggs and rice every day? Spam's expensive here. This is like $4 a can. So if you're on a low budget, $1,000 a month, you're going to be living on Spam, kilos of chicken, and you're going to find a new friend here. It's canned meat. They have so many different types of canned meat. They have corned beef. They have sardines in the can. They have what they call meatloaf, and it's not meatloaf. It's compressed, you know, parts of beef or pork, and they make it into, they call it meatloaf, but it's just processed meat in a can, and a smaller can than this. They're small cans. This can runs under 100 pesos each. I think we bought two for 194 pesos. Or you can go on the bean diet. Eat beans and rice. You know, back in the day, a lot of guys saved a lot of money eating red beans and rice. And those are low budget meals. You're going to live on those. You're going to be going to the wet market. You're going to be buying chicken and pork and even fish at a low price and eating smaller quantities if you're on a low budget. So you can eat fine. Your diet might not consist of Burger King, going up here to Chili's, going to a steakhouse at a resort. So yes, you can live on a budget of $1,200. Let me give you a slight example of how you can live on $1,200 a month, even though I would not want to live on that type of budget. A lot of my viewers are interested in that. So let me go over some of the points. Your biggest expense is going to be your rent. Now, if you're in the city center, if you're in Cebu, the center of the city, Manila, the center of the city, or even Davao in the middle of the city, or a tourist spot, it's going to be expensive. And I'm going to think the cheapest rent you're going to get in Cebu City, right here in ILO Business Park, IT Park area, and inside the boundaries of those, is like $400 a month. And you're going to be spending between $400 and $900, depending on what quality of home you want to live in. Do you want to be in a 2-bedroom condo, a studio condo? Janet and I stay in a studio condo here in IL Business Park, and it's $400 a month US. Now, if you're away from the city center, if you're away from the high tourist area, you can save quite a bit of money if you live farther away from the center of the city. Where you're going to lose that advantage is when you travel into the city. You're going to have to pay for transportation. If you live in the city center and you live close to the mall, Landers, all the Metro Market, you don't need a motorcycle. You don't need to buy gas. You don't need to travel by cab too much. You don't have to get on a jeepney or a trike or these motorcycle taxis that they have now. I've been seeing when I come out of the mall, These guys are lined up, they got motorcycles, they got 2 helmets, and they're giving people rides on their motorbike. And they give them a helmet, the people get on the bike and they go for a ride. It's quicker than going on a cab. Nowhere near as safe, but you can get through traffic better. It seems to be the younger Filipino way of traveling is on these motorcycle taxis. Your utilities. Now, no matter where you live, you have to pay utilities. You got to pay your electric, you got to pay your water, and if you want internet. Internet's going to cost you 1,500 pesos no matter where you live. You can get better internet the more you pay. You can get more megabytes per second and pay more. You know, you can pay 2,000 pesos a month and get quite a bit more speed on your internet. But 1,500 pesos, which is roughly $27, you can get good internet. Your electric is going to be based on your usage of air conditioning. If you can do without air conditioning and just the fan, if you're a single guy and you're in a studio or a small 1-bedroom apartment, you can cut your electric bill down to below $50. But if you're like most guys, you like your air conditioning. Janet and I pay about 3,000 pesos a month in the condo here, which is about $55, $60. In DUMAGUETE, in our 4-bedroom house, we pay just under 4,000, which is $70 a month. So your electric bill is going to run between $40 and $70 or $80 a month, depending on your usage, and you're in control of that. The more you need, the more you're going to pay. Your water is going to run from $5 to $10 a month. Your drinking water, if you get the 5-gallon bottles of mineral water, you probably get those for about 25 to 50 pesos each delivered. So how much you use is up to you and your cost. Food. I think the food you're going to spend, if you're going to cook at home, you're going to be spending $100 a week. So say $400 a month for your food budget. If you go out, I think you're going to spend about $10 a day when you go out. And that's if you go to a coffee shop and you get a cup of coffee, if you're paying for a cab or for a jeepney. If you eat out, you know, you could spend up to $10 a day on that. So if you only go out every other day, you know, it's going to be like $150. If you go out every day, it's going to be about $300 a month on your outside expenses. And don't forget your visa fees. You don't want to overstay. So save $25 to $30 every month for your visa. Remember, you're going to get a big hit when you get your ACR card on your second or third month. So if you have any questions, you got any comments, let me know how much money you're going to spend on a budget. Are you looking to live in the city center? You looking to live in the province? Or does your girlfriend already have a home? Maybe you're coming here as a single guy trying to get established and you're not really interested in a girlfriend at this time. Let me know your thoughts and your comments. So if you break it down that you're paying rent $400 a month for rent, you're paying about $80 a month for utilities, you're going to pay about $40 a month for internet and also the load for your phone. You're probably going to spend $5 or $10 on that a month, or maybe even more. But let's just count $40 for your internet and your cell phone, the load that you need on your cell phone. $400 a month on food, you know, and not just food, your household supplies. You know, you're going to need toilet paper, paper towels, whatever you need in the house. About $100 a week, $400 a month. I think you should have about $25 set aside for transportation. You know, the buses in town here in Cebu and the trikes and buses in DUMAGUETE, they're not expensive. So if you budget $25 for that every month, you should have plenty of money for local transportation if you don't have a motorcycle. And even if you have a motorcycle, that's probably how much you'll spend in gas. Don't forget your visa fees, about $30 for those every month. And let's just call it $10 a day miscellaneous when you're going out every day, whatever you're going to do every day. And make sure you have money set aside just in case of an emergency. So in my opinion, if you're getting rent, you're paying your utilities, your internet, your load for your phone, your shopping, you know, food and supplies you need in the house, your expenses outside the house, you know, you go to the coffee shop or you go get lunch sometime, your transportation and your visa fees, I think you're going to run about $1,275. Everybody's different. What you use in electricity, what you pay in rent. Maybe you can find rent in the city center here for under this $400. But I think you need at least $1,275 to live in this city center. If you live outside the city center, I think you can drop that down by about $100 to $200 a month. And you can drop that down to like $1,000 to $1,200 a month if you live a little bit farther away from town. Now remember, the farther in the province you go, the farther away from town you go, things become cheaper. You know, the local markets become cheaper, rent becomes a lot cheaper, everything just becomes a little bit more cheap. But there's also a disadvantage. Transportation, if you don't have your own transportation, you're gonna have to be taking a hobble up and down the mountain. You're also gonna have to be catching the yellow Cirrus bus or local bus line whenever you wanna go, you know, shopping or something. And it's gonna take you longer to do these chores if you live farther from the city. Also the rent, you're gonna get far cheaper rent, but the quality of the place you're gonna rent is going to drop. It's not gonna be a modern facility, it's not gonna be, you know, westernized, but you might be able to get something. Maybe you don't care if the water is, you know, just regular water, not heated. When I talk about a shower and it's a cold shower, it's really not cold in the province because the water lines are outside. They stay a little bit warmer, so you're not really taking a real cold shower. And you probably be taking a bath out of a bucket anyway, scooping the water over you. So if you need to get down to that $1,000 or less, you probably have to go to live in the province, or you're going to have to live in the, you know, the low income areas here in the city. More, you know, more poverty. At least in the province, everybody, you know, has a better life. They seem more happy in the province. Where in the city, if you're in, you know, I hate to call it like a slum area, but, you know, low poverty, a low income, high poverty area, it's going to be, it's just not going to feel good walking around in that environment. Even though you don't have much money, you have so much more money than everybody else there. Now, for those of you who are going to have a budget a little bit higher, you know, don't forget, you can get a gym membership here, $15 to $60 a month, depending on the quality of the gym that you go to. And you're going to want health insurance. You know, some of you guys, you know, because your income is so low, you're going to take the chance and not have health insurance. So I budget $300 a month for my health insurance. I'm almost 70 years old. So in this video, I'm going to show you the rate for some health insurance offered by Pacific Cross, where they say they cover if you have a heart attack or cancer after 30 days. I don't know if they do or don't. I don't know what they consider pre-existing conditions, but I'm just going to show you the rate that they charge at each age, you know, at 55, 65, 70, 75. You can get coverage up to almost 100, but it's very, very expensive. I know for me to get covered, it's almost $3,000 a year. And I think it's better spent that I just put that $3,000 to the side and year after year save that up so I can self-insure myself. A lot depends on your health. If you have good health, you can take a few more risks. A lot of you guys come over here, you're already on medication. You're already seeing a doctor on a regular basis. Be careful about that. Know your health condition, know the risk that you're taking by moving here, especially if your money's low, if your budget is low. Now, when I talk budget, it doesn't mean that's all the money you have. You know, I budget a lot less than I have, and I try to stay under the budget. Hopefully you have a little cushion just in case of an emergency. And then remember the cost if you have a girlfriend or you have somebody live with you, or if that girlfriend has a child, your costs are going to go up. So that $1,200 budget or $1,000 budget, it gets really, really tight. And if you're living in her home, which is probably going to be her parents' home, you can cut your cost by about $300 a month. But they're going to want you to contribute to the family. So what you save in rent, you probably end up giving out to the family. So think twice before you move in with the family on that aspect. The other is how are you want to date? Are you looking for a date and then that's going to become your live-in girlfriend, turns into maid, turns into a housekeeper, turns into a caretaker? Or are you looking for a girlfriend that you can go out and have a good time with and travel? Traveling is very expensive. Janet and I travel a lot. Every time we go from DUMAGUETE to Cebu, it costs us, anywhere from 1,500 to 3,000 pesos one way, depending on how we travel. And that's a short distance. If you want to go island hopping, you want to go to Panglao, you want to go to Palawan, you want to go up to Surigao, all those things are expensive. And if you have a home base, it's a little bit more expensive because you're going to be doing a round trip. If you're a guy just coming here and decided, I'm going to travel around the islands by myself, like a lot of these digital nomads and a lot of these younger YouTubers do, I think you can keep your costs down even farther because you're never going to have a monthly rent. You're not going to have, a 2-month security deposit. And, you're not going to need a refrigerator. You need to not buy anything because you're going to be a minimalist. So you can travel, you get on a slow ferry. You can go from Cebu down to Mindanao or up to Surigao and find a cheap Airbnb, or you just go around and look for inexpensive hotels. You can find them under 1,000 pesos everywhere. That's under $17. Me, I might not want to stay in that hotel, but I'm spoiled. I have become accustomed to a certain quality, a certain style of living, and I'm going to stay with that. I'm sorry, but that's what I got to do. I've worked hard my whole life, just like you guys have. You've all worked hard your life, and now you're getting ready to retire, and you want to come to the Philippines or some other country to retire where the cost is way down. Philippines, the cost is low compared to the U.S., but the costs are going up. In the past year, I can feel the pinch. I'm trying to stay in my $1,700 a month budget. I think next year I'm going to have to move my budget up to $2,000 a month. Remember, living cost and quality of living is less in the province than it is in the city centers or in any popular expat area. Let's take DUMAGUETE, for instance. DUMAGUETE proper is expensive. The rent in DUMAGUETE, Valencia, is starting to kick up. It's starting to become a point where I know the rent that I'm paying now, which is under 25,000 pesos, under 500 a month. When I go to renew my lease in June, and if I want to find a new place to live, I'm going to be paying more. I think I'm going to end up paying close to 600 a month if I want to live in Valencia or DUMAGUETE area in somewhere nice, somewhere comfortable. As I get older, I need a little bit more comfort around me. And please remember to have a buffer just in case of emergency. Have your budget, try to stick hard with it, but have a buffer in case of emergency. You never know what happens. You see these YouTube stories all the time. Don't become a YouTuber story about something that's gone wrong and you can't handle it anymore. Medical costs. Be prepared to go to the hospital. It's not an outrageous cost to go to the hospital. I had that complete physical where in the U.S., with insurance, I probably would have paid like $1,500 in the deductible. Here it cost me under $300 for the complete physical, which was chest x-ray, ultrasound, they checked my heart, they checked my blood work, they did a lot of tests. It took half a day of testing, and it was very inexpensive. And I hear a lot of stories of people who go to the hospital. It's a very low cost. I just couldn't believe how low of the cost is for some of these medical procedures people are getting done. So self-insuring is good. Good backup plan is PhilHealth. I like it because it'll get you into the hospital. It'll get them working on you. Chances are you can make a payment plan upon your release with PhilHealth because you have a residence here and you're established here in the country. Even though you're on a tourist visa, they'll probably be able to make payment arrangements with you. As I said, my budget next year, I think Jan and I will sit down first of the year and go over it. I think I'm going to end up doing about a $2,000 a month budget. I spend more than that now because of my traveling with the YouTube. I try to keep my budget separate on my Cebu city from my DUMAGUETE. I maintain the house in DUMAGUETE. People live there. PJ lives there, and we have people there all the time watching them. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Love you all. Love you so much.